Your milk is over here, and the girls who love the beer. They may be well, that's all very well, with all their fancy clothes. But I'd have seen a pair of them as sweeter than me rose.
So, you were David's father, and he was your only son. And the new cut pits are rotting, and the work is left undone because of an old man weeping, just an old man in pain. For David, his son David, that will not come back again. Oh, the letters he wrote you, and I can see them still. Not a word of fighting, but just the sheep on the hill, and how you should get the crops in. Here the air gets stormier, and the bushes have got his body, and that was his officer. You were only David's father, but I had 50 sons. When we went up in the evening, under the arch of the guns, and we came back at twilight, oh God, I heard them call to me for pity, that could not help at all. Oh, never I forgot you, my men that trusted me, more my sons than your fathers, for they could only see the little helpless babies, and the young men in their pride. They could not see you dying, and hold you while you died. Happy and young and gallant, they saw their firstborn go, but not a strong limbs broken, and the beautiful men brought low, the piteous writhing bodies. They screamed, "Don't leave me, sir," for they were only your fathers. But I was your officer. In Memoriam by Ewart Allen McIntosh, which was killed in action the 21st November 1917, age 24. This title explains a lot of things for me. I was very interested because of that problem. I didn't know what was the thing. Memoriam of who, someone or something. For me, in memory, it was supposed to be in memory of someone, somewhere, or something. Never forgot about what happened. It also shows the reader how this poem will be, and in case. My first thought was someone reminding his friend, family member, or an enemy that died for no reasons. Now I will paraphrase everything in my own words, and in the first stanza, David's father lost his only son in the war. He is terribly sad and in pain, but the officer says, what is the worst? Seeing those children and sons dying. In stanza 2, the officer says that there was no truth on the son's letters, only talking about the sheep on the hill and day-to-day activities. Nothing serious about the war, and now he's dead. The third stanza, it is saying that he was his only son, but the officer had 50 young soldiers to carry and feed them as a dad. The officer even heard them, David and his soldiers, call for help, but he couldn't help them at all. In the fourth stanza, the officer, more than a dad to them, had soldiers' trust and had to see them die as he couldn't help. In the fifth and last stanza, the speaker comments that he saw more than most of the other fathers who waved their gallant sons goodbye. He saw more because he was a father, but also an officer. He witnessed the soldier bones breaking, them writhing in pain and dying. He has had terrible experience, worse than the men or fathers who simply said goodbye. In the connotation, there are many different meanings in the word in this poem, but I think there are negative and positive words. There are some reliefs of the past and during the war in which explains more, gives more information about the person. The author used a figure of metonymy, as the poem is called, not by its own name, but rather by the name of something associated in meaning with the war. He also used an excellent use of figure of language, metaphor, just the sheep on the hill. It shows how the soldiers and David were innocent, just like a sheep, eating grass all day in a hill, doing nothing. The speakers feel horribly sad, mad and scary. Art Alan McIntosh tried to make the readers feel bad about what happened in a poetic way, which makes the reader think more creatively and shows what happened in the war, what was the truth behind it for an officer. As in the first stanza, the poet showed emotions from the dad's feeling compared to the third stanza, where the officer expressed how pain he to feel being the father of 50 soldiers. In the last stanza, it switches again with hopeless emotions from him nothing being able to protect them since he was their officer. And if I go back in the title, now as we wrote through the story, a memoir of a young soldier that had suffered during his life and died for the good cause. The title is the main matter of the poem. It gives initial information which are helpful for the understanding of the poem, and it is the main point of the poem. It's why did Ewart wanted to write this poem. As the theme, which I'm about to say, it's a man full of joy who died in a war, explaining his last moment by a poem. The poet wants the readers to realize how awful it was, the war, and what people have to go through. He also trying to say young, gallant and beautiful boys had to go to war too.